Hello, everyone. Thanks for all you're doing to help reopen our secondary schools to more students. In this presentation, I'm going to briefly provide an overview of these items you see here below, and then take a deeper dive into this idea of the concurrent classroom. Teaching and learning options. There are two options, the hybrid model and the distance learning model. If a student chooses the hybrid model, they're going to be participating in a combination of in-person and at-home instruction. The distance model, distance learners are going to receive all at-home instruction. Student groups. Irrespective of which model they choose, all the students, whether they're hybrid or distance, should receive 4 days of instruction a week, just as they do now. The difference is that the hybrid learners are going to be divided into 2 groups or teams, and each team has 2 days of in-person instruction and 2 days of distance instruction. Whereas the distance learners, they're going to learn from home 4 days a week. Class format options. This is where you have to do some thinking. There are 2 options. On the left, this AM concurrent format option is where you would do all of your instruction to team 1, team 2, and the distance learners for that class or that period in the morning. So you're teaching students in your room and online simultaneously. Students leave for lunch or leave for the day, and then in the afternoon, that would be your opportunity to reteach, review, intervene, support students, office hours. All of that afternoon part would be via Zoom. On the right, I'm calling it the AM/PM format option because you'd be teaching one team of students, either team 1 or team 2, in your room, in your space, in person, in the morning. Again, students would leave for lunch. And then in the afternoon, you would teach the same lesson again to the distance learning group and whichever team 1 or team 2, was not there in the morning. Again, that's via Zoom. Here's another way to look at it. This is just an example for Monday, Tuesday. And here you can see this is the AM concurrent format option, full week. And you can press pause if you want to look at it more closely. And then here's the AM/PM format option. It's another view. And you can see how important it is that every teacher communicate what instructional format they're selecting for each class. And there's more information about that later. So what are the instructional implications? Well, for the concurrent classroom, where you're teaching the people in the room and those on Zoom simultaneously, most of us have never done this before. And so it's going to present or may present both challenges and opportunities. In the PM, the reteaching, reviewing that there, I think it's awesome because it provides us with that time we don't often find during the school day to do that tier 2 support. The AM/PM instruction, you don't need a lot of information about this. Teaching the students that are in front of you on campus, that in-person instruction that you have been doing forever. You got that. And in the PM, full distance learning instruction, you've been doing that for about a year, but it seems like forever. So let's take a little deeper dive into the concurrent classroom because that is what's new. Here are some benefits. We had a team of people from Manhattan Beach go visit Tesoro in Capistrano Valley last week, and they got some of these benefits and challenges that you'll see on the next slide from some of the students that they spoke with and some of the teachers that they talked to also. The one that sticks out to me is that it provides for that classroom community to stay intact. As far as challenges, I think the biggest one is that it is something that none of us have ever done before, or most of us have never done before. And it'll be a challenge, I think, to manage in the beginning. So here we are. This is what we were going to do in the presentation. Look at us flying. All right. So next one, technology, devices, connections, etc. So what do you need? Well, the truth is that you could do concurrent instruction with the same way you're doing distance learning right now with the equipment that you have right now. This is Christina Ibrahim. She's one of our science teachers, and she was showing us her setup. You can see on the left here, she has an iPad that she's using like a document camera. You can see it here. Then you can also see the view that's providing here on her laptop that she has propped up. And these are some thoughts from her. You can read that. Here's another science specialist, Connie Liu. Look at her fancy setup. Those are her words. I'm all about this setup right here. But you can see she has the aerial view, and she's signed on in two devices, her laptop and her iPad, both provided by MBUSD. And this is how she rolls. You can see here it's the same science lesson, but you're seeing the side view. I just love it that she props up that iPad with those LoRa bars. She's my girl. At the end of this presentation in the appendix, there are a bunch of other slides from this group of science teachers, Christina, Connie, and Susan Holton. So please take a look at them because they provide a lot of information for you about strategies, why to use a dot cam, helpful DL strategies, and more. So you can take a look at that on your own time. All right. So you could use a lot of the technology that you've already been using for distance learning to do concurrent instruction. However, we've learned that these tools that you see on the screen here will really help optimize that simulcast and that concurrent instruction in your classroom. That microphone here you see can be placed strategically so that it can pick up the voices in the room so that you can really host a grand conversation. The additional monitor will certainly help, and then there's that additional camera. And all of these things, all of these items will be provided for teachers who'd like to use them for the concurrent instruction. So this is Eric Sangalang, who is our director of IT, and he is showing us how easy it is to actually take these things and get them up and running so that you can get started perhaps even on Monday if you wish. This is the widget. It's a microphone. It's got that heavy duty plastic. It took him forever. He had to get scissors out to get through that plastic. Ta-da, finally got it out. The camera was much easier to take out of the box, and you can see it has that USB plug, and then he just clipped the camera right on top of his laptop. Here's the microphone with that port, and it's as simple as plug it in and clip it on. You would plug it into your USB port on your laptop or computer, and you may need an additional ports. We have these available also, and it's really that simple. The only complicated part, if you even want to call it that, this is the setup ready to go. I think this is Taylor DiBernardo's classroom. Mr. Pestle set this up last week in a jiffy. So you can see the microphone, the additional monitor, and the camera, and it's connected here. These are movable. So depending upon the type of instruction you're doing, they'll provide you with extension cables too, so that you can move the microphone around and that you can have the camera set up in different locations also. So this is the part that I was saying maybe might be a little bit challenging, but it's really not. It is connecting your new devices in Zoom. Open up Zoom. Sign in with your sign-in. Your new microphone and the camera would be plugged in already to your computer before you do this. You go up to Zoom Us and Preferences. Go to Video. In the drop-down menu, you're going to look for whatever video camera you just plugged in. In our case, it was the Logitech webcam. I said video. Yeah, the camera. Audio. There's the widget C. Close out the window. You can see it's connected there. And you're good to go. Here's the link to that video, and we can support you with that. All right, we're almost finished. Next steps, what to think about. Next steps, think if you're thinking that this is something you want to do, who can help you get up and running? I know that we have distance learning collaborators, of course, IT at both sites, administrators and colleagues. Think who else can help you get up and running beyond the videos, and we're all going to be ready to help. You can take a look at these other Post-its, but I want you to think too about what format, not YOI, it should be you, provide the best learning experience with and for your students. Think about that, because you want to be comfortable with whatever format so that you're providing an excellent experience for those at home and those in front of you. Create routines, friends. It's really big in this. Last thing, tomorrow morning at 11:30 a.m., we're going to do a Wednesday webinar. You can send in your questions ahead of time and then join us to hear about the concurrent classroom, simulcasting, and more. There's a link here that you can use to send in your questions, and I will send you the webinar link via email. Finally, something to think about. Again, thank you all for your time, and please check out the resources that are here in the appendix for you. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.